Shop Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, Saturday till noon, closed Sunday and holidays.
Home Warehouse, where a house becomes a home.
Are you interested in earning your degree online or finishing your degree? Take your career to the next level at Salem University. Salem University offers more than 50 online degrees and certificate programs. Learn how you can advance your career with degrees in nursing, business, education, criminal justice, and IT. Salem has 4-week classes starting once a month. Contact Salem University by dialing 844-462-9128, option 1, or visit salemu.edu to see if you are eligible for our partnerships offering tuition scholarships.
Have you been told there is nothing that can be done for your neuropathy? Tri-State Neuropathy Centers is pleased to tell you that's not true. As one of the largest and most successful neuropathy treatment practices in the country, Tri-State Neuropathy Centers has grown to 9 regional centers and helped over 14,000 patients, like Kim from Morgantown. Kim was experiencing such severe numbness, burning, and stabbing pain in her feet that she constantly felt distracted in life. Then Kim discovered Tri-State Neuropathy Centers and their effective FDA-approved treatment program that has no drugs, is non-invasive, and painless. Kim no longer has the pain that was limiting her daily activities, and she's now enjoying life again. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers helped Kim, along with thousands of others. Let them help you next. Call 304-777-2068. That's 304-777-2068. Tri-State Neuropathy Centers, the leader in treating peripheral neuropathy.
Thurby Riverside Ford announces the C Ford in a new light sales event. Check out these special deals.
The 2025 new Ford F-150 XLT Hybrid 4x4 has 3.9% for 60 months plus $3,000 in retail bonus cash. How about the best-selling SUV in America? The 2025 new Ford Explorer has 3.9% for 60 months plus $1,500 open bonus cash. And the king of all trucks, the new 2025 Super Duty XL 4x4 has 3.9% for 60 months or $1,500 retail customer cash.
It's time to see Ford in a new light. Did I mention the new 2025 Ford Maverick Crew Cab XL all-wheel drive starting at just $29,065?
Thurby's Riverside Ford, your 26-time Ford Presidential Award-winning dealer, located 1 mile past the casino at Nemacolin. Hurry, offer ends September 30th. Ford Motor Credit financing required. See Joey, Jimmy, Sammy, or Ashley for your Thurby deal.
Looking for a new spot for a night out? Then check out Shindig's Bar and Grill in Uniontown, located in Oliver Square. With regular live entertainment and themed events, and offering 6 diamond pool tables and 3 dartboards, Shindig's is the place to be. Enjoy daily specials, including Tuesday wing night, Friday's Cajun chicken Alfredo, and Saturday's incredible crab leg dinner. And stick around for karaoke nights, live music, and so much more. Follow them on Facebook at Shindig's with a Z Bar and Grill. Shindig's, your hootenanny hotspot.
I'll tell you what, folks, I just sat down with my budget worksheet, pencil, paper, and a calculator. And you know what? I cut my expenditures by 15.1%. That's real savings, and I froze my salary, saving the taxpayers over $1,800. I'm doing this to try to save money for the residents of Fayette County because the commissioners have raised your taxes 78.2% in just 6 years. That's not right. On November 4th, 2025, vote for me, John Marietta, for Recorder of Deeds. Let's keep fighting for fiscal sanity and protect your hard-earned money.
'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of John Marietta and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Fayette County Recorder of Deeds Office or Fayette County government. This program is privately produced and funded, and no county resources are used for its production or promotion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I was trucking up the highway, minding my own lane, with some dude in a Prius went and flipped me off. Guess my redneck hit him wrong. Seems like everyone these days is a ticking time bomb full of hate for folks like me who don't agree and ain't ever never gonna change. And it gets me thinking, leave this long-haired country boy alone. And I start singing along to the
Hey,
night.
this is John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly. And today's show is being brought to you by Miles' Garage and Tire Center, Mung's Auto Body, PatriotsOnline.com, Fayette County Recovery Storage and U-Haul, Country Motor Sales, Gunslingers in Connersville, JB Market, Auto Ordnance, Tactical Civics, Solid Foundation Ministries, Thundering Hills Feed and Supply, The Ink Spot, Fayette County MAGA Patriots Group, Highline Motorsports, Gun Owners of America, Hillbilly Jon Radio, and John Marietta for We the People. It's been a busy day today. But I do want to start out with a couple different things. I got a guest with me, and as soon as I get my phone working the way it should. Okay, so here's what I want to start out with. I want to make sure everybody understands what's going on here. There's some folks want to spread rumors instead of facts. So let's talk facts. Yes, there was a scheduled meeting mix-up on my end. I had the budget meeting written down for today at 1:45, but it was actually yesterday. As soon as I realized it, I asked for it to be rescheduled immediately. And here's the important part. My budget had already been submitted. That's right. It's already been submitted on Friday. Nothing was delayed, and no taxpayer dollars were wasted. Not one person from the courthouse even called my office to check. And for the record, I was not at the radio station at the time, and I don't care what anybody thinks, by the way, at the time of the meeting. I was at the funeral home, paying respects to a dear friend of mine. Some things in life are just bigger than politics. Now let's go to the results. I posted my 2026 budget already. As you can clearly see, my budget request is down 15.1% from last year. That's $7,500 less in taxpayer money being spent out of the Recorder of Deeds office. While other departments keep pushing for more, I am more spending. I've cut my costs year after year. I've put money back into the county, digitized records, saved time and resources, and I froze my own salary to save taxpayers even more. That's called fiscal responsibility. That's called respecting the taxpayer. Okay, now this is my opening for today. I had to get that out of the way because there's already people questioning why I wasn't at the budget meeting. It was just a mistake on my part, and I had the wrong date wrote down, and that's just the way life is. Sometimes you do things, and I was thinking about other things at the time. While on earth, while the earth remaineth seed time, and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. That's Genesis 8:22. Folks, I'll tell you something. The good book's right. A lot longer than the Washington Post ever was. Now this summer, the left-wing media elites are hollering louder than a June bug in a frying pan. Hottest summer on record, they screamed. Global boiling, they shouted. You'd think the sky was falling again. Now, hold on a minute. Let's look at the facts. You remember facts, don't you? A study just came out that shows the temperature in Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth, dropped by over 1.6 degrees Celsius between 1999 and 2018. And how can it be if the whole globe's on fire? I'll tell you how. Because they're selling anti-science. It's fear. And fear makes money, folks. Fear justifies taking your truck, your stove, your job, and your freedom, all while they jet around in private planes telling you to go green. And here's the kicker. Carbon emissions went down during the same time. So the theory that more carbon means more heat, well, like most things pushed by career politicians and global bureaucrats, it just don't hold water. Now, don't get me wrong, I love clean air, I want clean water, healthy forests, and fishing streams for my grandkids. But I also love the truth. And when they start censoring scientists, cherry-picking data, and punishing the middle class for something China ain't even pretending to stop, well, that ain't climate solution, that's a political racket. So today, we're going to break it all down for you. Not with fear, not with fancy slogans, just good old-fashioned common sense and truth. Two things in short. So two things that are in short supply these days. So buckle up, Fayette County. We're just getting started. We're going to get to the global. I got a caller calling in about the global situation in a few minutes. But in the meantime, I have to introduce somebody that's sitting beside me. Her name is Charlie Martin. Did I say it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. And she called me back and forth about some things, and this is about the little girl in Dunbar. So do you want to kind of give us a brief of what you're trying to do about the...
Sure. Renesmee Yutzi, who passed away tragically recently. Her life was cut too short for reasons that a lot of us can't wrap our head around. Like, there was just no need for it. And I feel like something needs to be done. Somebody needs to be held accountable, not just the person that did it or the two people that did it, but other people as well.
Yeah, there's definitely been a breakdown in communications. There's definitely been a breakdown with some things. So you got a petition started.
I do have a petition started. I had some great help getting that together. It is a legit petition. We have an electronic one up right now on change.org. It's also all over Facebook. I do have one on TikTok. And then I have a paper one also printed out. I just got that yesterday, so I haven't really been out there to push it just yet, but I have some friends helping me tomorrow. So when you see the paper one out in public, it is the same petition. It is a legit petition.
So I know that I haven't looked at it. How many signatures do you have online already? Or,
let's take a look.
Last time I looked, it was like at 2,500, and it hasn't even been 48 hours yet, I don't believe.
I got it up and running about 8:30 on Sunday night, I believe it was. So no, it's not even been 48 hours, and we're up to 2,601 signatures just on my petition alone. So that's pretty good.
And what you're wanting to do is you're wanting somebody to take a look at this from the state representatives, the state senators, not just from our area, but clear across the state. We need people to know, and we're gonna. I'm gonna try to help you with that as much as I can. It's been a busy 3 days here, but I had somebody close to me. But anyways. We're not going to talk about that right now. But anyways, we'll get. I was at Dunbar for the service on Friday night, and then I went back. I was asked by some people from Dunbar to come back on Saturday. No, wait. I was there Friday night at the Franklin Memorial Church, which was it was a somber thing. And then I went back on Saturday night, and it was pretty. Everybody was kind of choked up. They had a candlelight service, and like I said, I know that there's a bunch of things going on. There's a bunch of working parts. I know the Mayor of Dunbar's is getting after this as much as he can, and we need to do the right thing. We just don't need to point fingers now. We need to figure out what we need to do. And you're a mother.
Yes.
So what is a mother of how many?
3.
3. Okay.
And I've lost 1.
So, that's probably why you wanted to get involved more than anything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it pulls at your soul a little bit. It's unnecessary.
And I know there's a couple churches that's probably going to get involved in this and help you out with some different things. I was glad you just stepped up to, said, hey, you called me, and I said, well, you get it written, and we'll figure out what we do there. And I've helped you post it on as many platforms as I can. I was going to go out to some more platforms here in the next 24 hours, so we'll see what that does.
Yeah, thanks for your help. Thanks for everybody's help out there who's been sharing it. The more and more I log into Facebook, the more and more it's being shared. And I don't know if anybody knows where it's coming from, but I'm just glad that it's going.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that people aren't afraid to sign it. Hopefully people are actually reading it, though, so they can understand what they're reading and what the petition is for. And I'm proud of the community for coming together the way they've come together. Everybody's come together for different reasons. well, for the same common goal reason, but everybody's coming together at different angles here. You know, we have people that have helped pay for the funeral service, which is phenomenal. You know, people that did the vigil for her and just trying to help her and her siblings.
I know that there's a couple groups in Greene County that's already passing around, and I'm going to get it up to some people up in Butler and Beaver and Armstrong and Clarion, Clarion County. I had a phone call this morning real early from somebody that I have a friend of mine. He drives truck, and he called me like 6 o'clock this morning, and he said that he wanted to pick it up and start moving around up there. So I think that's a great thing.
Yeah,
I think it's a great thing.
Because this is not just for Fayette County, the whole state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and like I said, what I'm liking about it is you're wanting all the state representatives to take a good hard look at this and see if there's some kind of reform we could get brought into the situation, because it's definitely needed. I know my daughter, I know my daughter adopted, and I do know with the checks and balances that was put in place for when she did that, it was actually I had to go down to Pittsburgh. My wife and I did, because we were going to be in direct contact with the girl that she was adopting, and we had to be vetted by federal marshals and the FBI. So that was it was something that. So I'm wondering, and then there's actually a person to come and check for the first couple of years to make sure everything was good. But there's always, I know there's flaws in the system, so maybe we can figure out how to fix that. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
I just want people to be understanding that this is not going to happen overnight. Make this loud. Keep it going. Don't forget it. Even in a couple weeks or a couple months or even in a year or two when it's quiet, make it loud again. Message your representatives. Do what we're doing right now and just start it all over again when it gets quiet.
Well, I think you're going to get a lot more signatures than what you thought you were going to, because this is something that we have to keep moving forward.
Yeah, this is not going to hurt anything at all. And the details of what's in the law, we'll figure those out. Right now, the petition is just the basis. It's not everything that's going to be in there. There's a lot of things that I'm pushing for, that other people are pushing for, and I'm hearing things, and I'm reading what people are posting online. So don't think that I'm not reading it.
Yeah, and I know it's moving probably a little faster than what you even thought it was going to.
Yeah, very quick, but I'm very happy with it.
I really want to thank you for coming in today, because I know that you're not that outgoing of a person, and this is a little I know you're nervous about it.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't want to let anybody down. I just want to help. So
if somebody wants to sign the petition, where do they need to go to?
So if you want to sign the petition, you go to change.org, type in Renesmee's Law. There are 2 on there. Just look for the one where it has Renesmee's photo, unfortunately, alongside the river. And when you open it, it will give you details about what's going on, and it will say Charlie Martin has created this petition, so you know that you're signing the right one. And then I'm going to try to get paper ones out there. If you want to message Ann Martin on Facebook, that's me as well. We could sign it that way. I can meet up with people. We can figure it out.
Yeah, and if they message me, if you want to message me on my Messenger or Ann, it's Charlie Ann, I know, but if it's Ann Martin on Facebook, message us. And if you have a church or something that would like petitions, I'm not going to promise you'll get them the same day, but we'll make sure you get them. Yeah,
within a couple of days. Like I've got 3 little ones at home, so I'm busy with school and things like that. So if it can't be the same day, definitely within a day or 2 or so, within that week. Okay. We can make some kind of an arrangement if somebody needs to sign it. Or if you know people that don't have a way to e-sign and they need the paper signature, we can figure something out.
Okay. And like I said, that's probably the best way to do it, is to do it on private messenger, and we'll make sure that happens. So the other thing, well, I want to get to my other guest too, because I did the opening about climate change, but we needed to get this thrown in there, and so he's waiting patiently on the line, I think. You with us, Chris? Hello, Chris. I guess.
Yeah, I'm here, John.
Oh, I woke you up. But anyways, we had this petition thing that we wanted to get out there to people as much as we could, and I know that I knew you would be okay with letting us do that. So I started out my opening about how this Antarctica is actually, the temperature in Antarctica is actually 1.8 degrees Celsius, has dropped from 1999 to 2018, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't believe that, but that's facts. So I want to get you started on this global situation about the I guess greenhouse gases and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, climate change. I think it's important to know, John, that climate change is real. The climate changes every single day. So when people on the political and cultural left talk about the dangers of climate change, we need to remind them that, yes, there is climate change, but it happens naturally. It doesn't happen because of man-made behavior, which has been something they've been telling us for about the last 50 years. So what I'm going to do is share a pretty good amount of information that explains that. First of all, every summer, not just this last summer, but every single summer, John, we are always told that it's the hottest on record. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, every single summer, they're telling us it's the hottest on record. There's nothing we can do about it. Well, here's the deal, okay? As you said, Antarctica has gotten colder. Between 1999 and 2018, temperatures actually cooled off by 1.8 Celsius degrees. So global temperatures have cooled, not warmed, as those on the left want us to believe. In fact, this is even more amazing. Antarctica has cooled and more ice has grown there in spite of increased carbon emissions. That's important because what the left tries to tell us is that more carbon emissions are causing warmer weather. Well, this is showing that, more carbon emissions are not causing warmer weather. They're causing colder weather. In fact, here's where the left gets it wrong. They think carbon emissions cause the weather to get warmer, and it's not true. Carbon emissions do not cause the weather to become warmer. It's the opposite. Warmer weather actually releases more carbon emissions into the atmosphere. So they've got that backwards. So that's an important thing an important distinction. The second thing is there's an article in the Blaze Media from September 1st. Okay, so that's about 8 days ago. And it says, Al Gore wrong again. Okay, Al Gore wrong again. Study delivers good news for Arctic ice trends, bad news for the climate hucksters. Okay, hucksters are the people who are peddling the man-made climate change issue, when in fact it's not man-made. It's made naturally by the sun. It's the solar cycles of the sun that are increasing and decreasing, temperatures and global climate change. We'll get into that a little more, but for now, I wanted to address this article. Blaze Media, Al Gore wrong again. Study delivers good news for Arctic ice trends, bad news for climate hucksters. In the article, John, it says that in 2007, Al Gore, he received a Nobel Prize for speaking out against man-made climate change, right? Well, what ended up happening in that speech in 2007 he predicted that the polar ice caps will fall off like a cliff. They'll just fall off like ice falling off a cliff. And he said that all the studies show that all the ice will be gone in 22 years. Well, here we are. The ice isn't gone from the polar ice caps. In fact, we're seeing increased ice in Antarctica, okay, and the North Pole has not fallen off. Ice has not fallen off like a cliff, like he claimed.
Well, one
Also,
thing
I'm sorry?
One thing I can get, I remember when I was a kid, 12, 14 years old. And you probably remember this too. They told us that we were going to run out of natural gas in the next 5 to 6 years.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember them talking about that? The gas companies were jacking up the price of natural gas, and the government was telling us that we were going to run out of natural gas, and that's kind of when all this started with the Green New Deal type of things. And then we found out that we're standing on more natural gas here in Pennsylvania than we could ever use in 100 years.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. In fact, we have more natural. The United States is called the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. We have as much natural gas in our under the ground than Saudi Arabia has in oil. We have more natural gas under the ground than Saudi Arabia does oil. That's how incredible it is. And so all these claims have been proven false. 2 years after Gore made his claim in 2009, he said there was a 75% chance, this is at the Copenhagen Climate Conference, there was a 75% chance the entire North Pole and their ice caps, okay, would be completely ice-free in the next 5 to 7 years. That was in 2009. Well, guess what? 2009, he said within 5 to 7 years, that's 2016, here we are. The ice caps in the North Pole have not dried up and evaporated. They're still there. So all these crazy, we'll call them claims, are proving to be false. And here's the interesting thing, John. Do you know that Al Gore, with all of his scaremongering and his fear-mongering, all of which have been proven false, all of his claims, he was getting $200,000 per speaking engagement. Isn't that something?
It is. It is.
Yeah. So he's making money, scaring people, and there's an agenda behind it all. What do you think the agenda is?
Well, the agenda is for the agenda is for us to go without electricity. That's what I think it is. I mean, that's where we're at. Just think about it. They're trying to figure out how we can. We're never going to be able to, with solar and wind, we're never going to be able to get to the point where we're going to be able to take care of electric needs of just your locality. So how are we going to do that nationwide? So it almost like they're trying to keep people from being able to use their electrical products. I mean, that's my thing.
No, you're absolutely right. This is an attempt to move us away from a free enterprise capitalism system to a more monopoly capitalism system where government has a monopolistic control over everything. That's what's happened with healthcare, thanks to Obama and his ACA law, also known as Obamacare. As a result of Obamacare, the ACA law, healthcare costs have doubled and deductibles have tripled. So it didn't improve healthcare. It made things worse. It's made it harder for people to get healthcare coverage. So that's a monopolistic kind of capitalism, not a free enterprise capitalism. And so if they can scare people, John, into believing that free enterprise capitalism is bad, it's killing people because of climate change, then they'll embrace this monopoly capitalism, just like we have with our healthcare system. And I think that's what's behind all of this. Plus, there's another angle. There's the population bomb. They want to make the case that there's too many people on the earth using too many too much power, using too much energy. And so that's another problem. In November of 2017, there was an article on NBCnews.com. It was an opinion piece, and it said, "Science proves kids are bad for the earth." Is that insane or what?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it is insanity.
Yeah, and so the objective is to push us off of free enterprise capitalism using energy that comes from the earth, like natural gas, which is very clean and virtually no carbon footprint whatsoever. The same thing with nuclear power. They don't want us using those things. They want us to use solar and wind, which produce barely any energy. And now we're finding out that solar panels, okay, when using solar energy, it produces three times more carbon, releases 3 times more carbon into the environment than natural gas. Isn't that something?
One more time. Let me roll that around a second. Tell me that.
Yeah, there's a 2024 report just came out last year from the Environmental Progress that found the carbon footprint, the carbon emissions released into our atmosphere by solar panels are 3 times greater than that of natural gas.
Okay. So
we were told we needed to move to solar and wind to reduce our carbon footprint, right?
Yeah. Well,
to reduce, right?
Actually, I with the amount of cement, the amount of steel, the amount of oil it takes just to build these things, you're never going to get it back. It's never going to outweigh the benefit of them.
Right. So building these solar panels and putting them in place releases 3 times more carbon into our atmosphere than natural gas, meaning it's useless to have solar and wind because of what you just said. You have to manufacture the solar panels or the wind turbines. You have to use all the steel and all the energy. You have to buy up an enormous amount of land. You take farmland away from farmers. You take land away from developers and from people who wanting to build homes and so on. So it does not help the environment. It's the opposite. And more carbon is being released. And so this is from a 2024 report from the Environmental Progress. And so and here's another problem. China is not releasing their data on their solar panel industry. Most of the solar panels used to collect solar energy are built in China, and they're not telling us how much carbon is released into the atmosphere when they make these solar panels. And as a result, we aren't getting good data. So when the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, or the International Energy Agency, IEA, when they release their findings on carbon emissions, they're not even giving us accurate data because China's not playing ball and telling us how much carbon the development of these solar panels is causing.
Well, I do know the Chinese are buying most of the coal in the world right now, all the good coal out there. So
yes.
The other thing is they've came over here and bought the power plants that the coal power plants that we were supposed to put out of service. They bought the parts to them, and now they're over there generating power with coal. Actually, they dumped the coal in the sea. I don't know. A lot of people don't know this probably, but they dump the coal in the sea to store it, and in different parts. And then they dredge it back up. So you start thinking about it. I'm not saying that we don't have to have clean energy. That isn't what I'm about. We have to have clean energy. We have to have clean water. We have to be able to fuel everything. But when you got somebody over, they're not even trying. They're burning things over there. I mean, they're burning everything from tires to anything they can get their hands on to make power.
Yeah, exactly. And then they are releasing carbon into our atmosphere. And the United States has the lowest carbon emissions we've had in decades, and their carbon emissions are through the roof. And so, yeah, it's completely opposite of what we've been told. And let me just say this. The evidence for solar activity causing climate change, not man-made activity, is overwhelming. There's a guy from De Anza College. His name is Ridha Hamidi, PhD. Okay? And this man said, this is a scientist who works on these issues, he said, and I quote, more energy from sunlight strikes the Earth in 1 hour than all of the energy currently consumed on the planet in 1 year. More energy is coming from the sun in 1 hour than all the energy human beings consume in 1 year. So what's that tell you? Sunlight and the radiation from the sun, okay, is causing, the temperature change is coming from the sun, not from human beings. Because in 1 hour, more energy comes from sunlight than in all the energy we consume as humans in 1 year. In fact, there's a guy named, I think his name is John Casey. He wrote a book called Dark Winter, and he's a scientist who worked for NASA. He worked on the space shuttle, and he said there's a cycle every 30 to 35 years where the Earth moves a little bit farther away from the sun, and then every 30 to 35 years it moves a little bit closer to the sun, and it causes a slight increase or decrease in temperature. You're talking 1 to 2 degrees, not much more. And that's all it is. And it's caused by solar activity and the Earth in relation to the sun. And it's not caused by human beings. And the evidence is overwhelming. But if you have an agenda that you want to destroy free enterprise capitalism, and you want a monopoly capitalism where the government controls everything and controls energy and tells you how much energy you can use, you have to create and manufacture a crisis. And that's what's going on. Let me read this again from the same gentleman with the PhD, Ridha Hamidi. He said the amount of solar energy reaching the surface of the planet is so vast that in 1 year, it's about twice as much as will ever be obtained from all of the Earth's non-renewable resources of coal, oil, natural gas, and mined uranium combined. Wow. So solar energy is so vast that in 1 year, the energy coming from the sun in just 1 year is twice as much as all of the energy sources we're using, coal, oil, natural gas, and mined uranium. That's insane, John.
Well, that's because you're taking the whole planet into all this.
Yes, that's true.
The sun. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. But what it proves is the climate is not increasing or decreasing 1 or 2 degrees because of human behavior. It's solar behavior. It's the natural process of solar energy that every so often, every 30 or 35 years, like this John Casey, who's a scientist and worked on the space shuttle, said there's a process every 30 to 35 years, the weather and the temperature increases by 1 or 2 degrees or decreases by 1 or 2 degrees. It's a natural process, has everything to do with solar energy. Let me give you this. How much more time do I have, John?
About 10 minutes. Well, about 7 minutes.
Okay, good. Have you ever heard of the Club of Rome?
No.
Okay, they're like a think tank, nonprofit organization in Europe.
Okay, I was thinking about something else. Go ahead.
No problem. They were founded in 1968. In 1972, they published a report called The Limits of Growth, and they used computer models. So this is not accurate data. It's just it's a model. It's a hypothesis. And a lot of the scare tactics are coming from models, computer models, not actual data taken from the Earth. And so, you can make a computer models say what you want it to say. That doesn't mean it's accurate. And so looking at their computer models back in 1972, they warned, once again, that unchecked population and industrial growth were going to cause massive climate change. You see how they always make it about human beings, not solar activity, which is what the science shows us. It's solar activity. Okay, so in 1991, that same Club of Rome, they issued a book called The First Global Revolution. I want you to pay attention to this next statement by the Club of Rome in 1991 in their book, The First Global Revolution. Listen to this, and I'm quoting them. Here it is. In searching for a common enemy against whom we can unite, we came up with the idea. If you come up with an idea, John, you're making up an idea. Okay. They came up with the idea that pollution, the threat of global warming, water shortages, famine, and the like would fit the bill. All these dangers are caused by human intervention in natural processes, and it is only through changed attitudes and behavior that they can be overcome. And here's the final statement. According to them, the real enemy then is humanity itself.
Well, yes.
End
I
quote.
mean, that's obvious. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's obvious. Yeah. I mean, we're our biggest enemy. The society, the people that live on the earth. We're the ones that use the energy. We're the ones that want more. We want to, I mean, how many people do you know that when you was a kid, just think about it, the house was dark at 10 o'clock and you might have stayed up and watched the 11 o'clock news, but anything after 11 o'clock, you were working second shift or coming home. I mean, the houses were dark. Street lights actually were turned out at one time at different times. I mean, I don't know, it's a safety thing now, but they turned street lights out at different times. We went from gas street lights to electric street lights. I mean, you could burn you could have the same amount of light out of a gas with a gas street light for about a third the cost as an electric one. We need to start,
exactly.
We need to start thinking about these things.
Natural gas alone, John, is so much cleaner, and we have plenty of it. As we said, the USA is the Saudi Arabia of natural gas. We have more natural gas under our feet, than Saudi Arabia does oil.
Well, they're not sure about the oil here in Pennsylvania, but the for some reason they're not sure about that. But we still have an abundance of oil here in Pennsylvania. I'm not saying that we're the same as the Arab countries, but there's a big pool of oil we're standing on also. So, but anyways, we'll get back to that another day. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting in this quote in their book that the Club of Rome said we came up with the idea that pollution and the threat of global warming and all these other things were a problem. Well, if you come up with the idea, you're not looking at data, you're not looking at evidence, you just created it out of thin air. You created a crisis that doesn't really exist. Now, you're right, we want clean water, we want clean energy, that's fine, but natural gas gives us clean energy. Nuclear power plants give us clean energy. If you're concerned about clean energy, there's better ways to do it than solar and wind, which produce very little energy. They take up an enormous amount of land, and now we're finding out that solar panels and everything that goes into making these solar panels work is releasing 3 times more carbon into the atmosphere than we were once told. The fact that I'm sorry?
Go ahead. Well, I was going to tell you, when I went to school, I studied that for a while. Anyways, there was a gentleman, and what he was doing was he was actually creating steam of course it was hydro. So what they would do is that they would run these lines instead of running electric absorbed to make electric. They would run hydro, and he was making steam with solar panels, and he was able to do it pretty efficiently. And then it all just seemed to go away. I mean, that was back in the early '80s. So, and I do know that you can boil water with the sun real easily if cost effective, and that's the way solar works the best. I will tell you.
Yeah, there are legitimate uses of solar, but for energy en masse, it doesn't produce anywhere near the energy we need. And again, it's releasing 3 times more carbon into the atmosphere, and it takes up an enormous amount of land, land being taken away from farmers and developers and so on. But I find it interesting that they're telling us that they came up with the idea that global warming and pollution were killing the world, and that the real enemy is humanity itself. No, the real enemy is not humanity itself. The real enemy is a lack of free enterprise. When you see countries, China is a perfect example, burning up a lot of coal, and they're releasing an enormous amount of carbon into our atmosphere, the enemy isn't humanity. The enemy is the system of government that communist China has. A free enterprise capitalist system will allow for the money and revenue and capital to be used to create clean energy like natural gas and nuclear. If you have a monopoly capitalistic system like China, then you do what the government says regardless of how badly they're polluting the environment. So what really comes down to is we need more free enterprise capitalism, not less.
Well, anytime you can fund anything with private money or independent money of the government, you're way further ahead because, and more likely, it's going to end up making money. Howard Hughes proved that over time and time again. I mean, let's think about that. Let's think about it for just a minute. I mean, they did that, and anytime we have anytime the government gets involved, then you end up with layers of bureaucracy and nothing gets accomplished.
Which explains why we have such a huge debt in our country. We have about a minute left, I think.
Okay,
let me leave you on this. Blaise Pascal, French, I believe is a French mathematician. He has a great quote. Here's what he says. And this is the quote. People almost invariably arrive at their beliefs not on the basis of proof, but on the basis of what they find attractive. End quote.
Well, Chris, it was great having you. Go ahead, finish up.
No, that's all.
Okay, it was great having you. I know I'm going to have you on again. I appreciate you. We had like a show, a couple different things going on here today, and hopefully I didn't confuse people too much. But I really wanted to get you on about this, and I know we'll get back to it again. So, okay, thanks for calling in, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so got a couple different things going on. By the way, I do have hay for sale still. I still got some left. I got about 80 bales left, and we're selling them for $30 a bale, I believe. And so if you want to get a hold of me about that, because I want to get this hay moved out before the weather starts, before we get snow on the ground. So anyways, on this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive and try to forget. People change. Things go wrong. But just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the Hillbilly.